11, the Time of Hydra, the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. 10th Anniversary podcast. The Japan jet lag has only gotten worse, but we are back to our regularly scheduled program and taking you down a trip to April 28th, 2015. See You Again by Wiz Khalifa featuring Charlie Puth was the #1 song once again. And Fury 7 remained the top movie at the box office. I think this might be the first movie since we started to last 3 weeks. That's pretty cool. The 69th Tony Award nominations were announced, and let me tell you, Fun Home had such a chokehold on me. I try not to share bleak news in this, but this day was very disastrous, and I feel like we have to talk about it. There was a deadly earthquake in Nepal, a mudslide and avalanche in Gota Tebla, which is like I don't know if I'm saying that right, but it's like on the equator. A landslide in Afghanistan, a train crash in Johannesburg, and a ferry fire in Spain. So watch where you're going today. April 28th seems to be cursed. Penelope Cruz turned 41, Mary McDonnell turned 63, and Margaret turned 74, and Jessica Alba turned 34. And of course, 10 years ago was the debut of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 2 episode, The Dirty Half Dozen, which aired on ABC at 9/8 Central. Hello, I'm Jamie Jarek, and I'm here with my co-host, boyfriend, level 2 Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. fan, and also very jet-lagged Tony Paletto.
Hello, thank you. Hi, Jamie. Hi, everyone who's listening and watching. Thank you for being here. Sorry if I come across as confused or low energy at any point during this podcast.
It's been a while since we've gone to sleep before the sunrise. But we have a really awesome guest today, one of our favorite S.H.I.E.L.D. fans. She's a video editor. You've probably seen her cosplaying at many a cool premiere. Sarie Moscato is here.
Hey!
Yeah!
So Sarah, you got like a little cold. So between our jet lag and your sickness, this show might be our most chaotic ever. And this is a big one. We have so much to talk about.
Yeah.
The most dense episode ever.
No. Terry, it's been almost exactly a year since you were on with Jackie talking about nothing personal. So first of all, we need to do a little tour of what's going on with you. First, show us your background. What are these things that you got out of your storage unit today?
Okay, so we've got the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. here, and they're both season 1, season 2. So I was like, we're gonna bring those. You used my Elena picture, so I thought Thunderbolts is coming out. So we've got Elena and then my girl Kate. I just thought I'd prop them up back there. We needed to explain this because they do look very awkward, but I needed it. I needed it here.
I think it looks great. And I purposely used your Elena cosplay for our promo photo because it's Thunderbolts week. So
right?
Very hyped for that. Also, tell people about your shirt.
This is a screen-worn, Chloe Bennett worn Sky Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. shirt from 211, like right after she becomes Quake. She is in that like pod, and there's blood, guys.
Yeah.
Oh, that rules.
I told Maria, I pulled up the picture that so we can see. There it is. That's so cool.
That's so cool.
Screen worn stuff is really neat. I love that's and it it works for you. It looks good on you.
Yeah, it really does.
Yeah. There's a place in Burbank that you can like find if you know the show code. It wasn't like off the auction or anything. It was like a find in a thrift shop, but know that it's screen worn.
Yeah. That's really
wild.
Dope. That's awesome. Wow. I want to shout out everyone in the chat. We got a pop in chat again today. Again, the Lido crew is continuing to struggle, but we're here. I think we have some new people in the chat. So in a minute, I think it's time for Tony to tell the rules, but I do want to share some reminders. We're talking about Age of Ultron this week on Patreon. 10 years. This movie is very important to me. Definitely the MCU movie I've watched the most. So I'm really excited to talk about it. It'll probably be Friday, which I believe is May 2nd, but we don't have the exact time yet. So check on those socials. Also, we only have 3 episodes left of season 2. And the final 2 were released together. So we only have 2 episodes left of this show for this season. And they're both going to be at a special time. So mark your calendars on May 4th. Scars is going to be early. We're doing that one at 10 a.m. PT. We'll see. We're just still awake from the night before. And the finale episode, instead of Sunday, will be Monday, May 12th. Also time TBD. All right, Tony, why don't you tell the chat the rules?
Hi, welcome, new people. I'm going to tell you some rules now. Don't spoil anything. If you're going to say anything spoiler, tag spoiler alert in your comment. That way it protects people like me who are going through this show for the first time. Hopefully there are people who are watching this show fresh and new as I am. So yeah, tag your spoilers, please, or our producer Maria will stab you with a knife she made by herself in Japan.
Pretty true. All right, The Dirty Half Dozen was written by friend of the show, Drew Greenberg, along with Brent Fletcher, directed by another friend of the show, Kevin Tancherone. In case you missed it, we had Drew and Kevin on the show together back in October to discuss Face My Enemy, which actually had some interesting influences on this episode that we'll get into later. All our major players are back, all our big guest stars from the season, and then we got Kobe Smulders back here as Maria Will. It's Ultron time, baby! Okay, I do want to. We'll get into the specifics of the Ultron tie-ins later, but I want to bring back an old segment, which is what were you doing 10 years ago? Because I want to know, Sarie, as a Marvel fan 10 years ago, do you remember how excited you were for Ultron? How you were preparing with watching Shield and the movie?
Oh my God! Well, I do remember being really excited for any Marvel crumbs. So yes, and specifically, this is the second Avengers movie, right? So that's a big deal because Avengers was really what kicked it off. So yeah, I do remember thinking, oh, this is happening. But honestly, it was more about Shield for me. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, cool, Marvel tie-in, we're validated, but less of yay, the new movie, more we're validated. Yeah.
I love that. Tony, do you remember what you were up to?
Did you say Kobe Smulders was in this episode we're talking about?
Yeah.
When?
Wow.
I'm not gonna lie, that too. Did I not watch the tag?
Coulson has a video chat with her at the end.
Oh, there's a video. Yeah, that's right. I remember now.
But I don't remember her being there.
Yeah, I honestly forgot, but I witnessed her. I will say, Tony and I were watching this at 5:00 this morning, and maybe had a couple drinks.
We're trying anything and everything to defeat jet lag, whether it's whiskey or doing work late at night. But okay, I remember her now. I was just yes, she was on a video screen. Totally. 10 years ago, I don't remember.
All right. Well,
I don't think I'd remember if I was jet lagged or not. I really don't know.
Well, I mean, I was just do you remember being excited for Ultron?
Oh, hell yeah. I was so into it at this point. Very, very jazzed for it. Very jazzed for Ultron specifically as an antagonist, as a character. Was really into seeing the twins, as they're called, make their debut. All around into it.
Technically, they made their debut in Winter Soldier, but it is still exciting. I will say, when my roommate at the time, Becca, she texted me the other day a picture of us having a marathon ahead of time because we always back then would marathon all the movies, and it was so funny. It was like we're 10 movies today. It's there was a time 10 years ago where you could watch all the Marvel movies in one day, and that's wild to think about. You couldn't come close to doing that right now. So that was fun. All right, season 2, episode 19. Sarie, I know you love this one. You were excited to be a part of it. Tell us your general thoughts on this up.
Well, upon rewatching it, I realized the parts that I love don't start till halfway through it because I was just they're back together. And then honestly, that was it. It was we're back on the bus. We're back. Rip bus, by the way. That was also
rest in peace, bus.
Yeah, but mostly that. The first half of the episode, I was what even is this? What? I don't. But I will say, I was sad at first when I was oh yay, The Dirty Half Dozen. That's a great episode. And then I'm oh no, but there's no Cal in that, is there? But there is.
Yes.
But there is Cal. So I was okay, I got my Kyle MacLachlan fixed too.
I love that. Tony, I know you made a comment to me after the episode, so why don't you share that with the audience?
I don't remember.
He said, these are the most notes I've ever taken in a single episode.
That's right. I have, I got my notepad here, and usually it's we'll fill that out and then maybe a little on the back. But this one, I almost did 2 full sheets. So many notes on this one. It was just a lot popping off. It's a dense episode. a lot of characters and a lot of shit goes down. I was Kyle MacLachlan cracks me up, but like I love his attitude when he shows up at back at the Shangri-La, or I forget what the name of the place is.
Afterlife.
Yeah. The guy's like, it's like, all right, time for you to go back. And he's like all pissed off. And then some dude just some random dude in a V-neck like walks up and stands next to him. And it is just like, there are worse options. And I'm like, from that guy? Who's that guy? It's just like they cast like a background guy to like intimidate Kyle MacLachlan, and it just made me laugh. But no, this is just, I mean, I will get to it. There's a lot to talk about.
I feel like we're going to run long today because it really is so much is going on. We open with Reign of Premonition, which is funny because, you know, Revenge of the Sith is in theaters right now, so everyone's watching it, and it kind of, like, her dream premonitions remind me of Anakin, like, dreaming of Padme giving birth, like, when she's dying and giving birth, and that makes me laugh a little. So... Tony, I'll start here. How do you feel about this reign of power, especially after her being so obsessed with the idea of a clairvoyant in season 1?
Good, yeah, I'm really into the clairvoyance. I'm always into that. But she doesn't really know what she has yet. She's not aware of it. Other people are. She's having dreams. She has.
Yeah, I think she's kind of figured out what's going on.
Okay, because she was like, it felt real. And I was like, well, it is. It's just the future. But anyway, I think she's super cool. And I thought it was mean but hilarious that Skye called her Sonic the Hedgehog. In so few words.
Favorite part.
It's had to have been a Drew Greenberg line. Like, I need him to confirm because that really is funny. Sarie, I feel like at this point, Raina has figured out her powers. Would you agree?
And like during the episode, Jiang's like, I'm the one that's going to decide how we use your powers. So she must have like used them to tell Skye something. So like I feel like she's kind of caught on, right? Like
yeah, I think so.
Also, go ahead.
No, please. I was going to change.
I was just going to say this is a total derailment, honestly, but it's near that Sonic the Hedgehog line. Skye goes, Shield may be wrong about a lot of things, and goes on this little like tangent. Did you guys watch the behind the scenes thing? Oh my God, now I forget what it was called, but they basically have a tie-in series where this guy is trying to protect the Shield season finale. And in that line delivery, he goes in and he crashes Chloe doing ADR for that line, and she's just sounds ridiculous, and I cannot hear that line the same anymore because she just keeps repeating it ridiculously for this little like Shield tie-in thing.
Oh, I haven't seen that. Okay, we got to find that and share it on socials. This is why like we always love having Sarie or Jackie on, because they know things that go so deep that even sometimes eludes me. I do. Tony probably doesn't remember he said this, but he really made me laugh when he just goes, "I'm so worried about Lincoln," which he didn't.
I'm not though.
It was sarcasm.
Sorry, Sarie.
No, same feelings, honestly. I was like, he could die. That's cool. Like, that way. I felt that way about Skye in season 1, so I feel like I always have to have like a character. I'm like, they could leave.
Yeah, it's how times change. I know that you're not really a shipper, Sarie. So at this point, like Lincoln, like were you like, oh, this romance is blooming, or maybe not? Like you just like get rid of him.
I had thoughts. I'm like, they brought this person in because Skye Ward is clearly not happening because of the turn they went for Ward. So Skye needs a romantic person, a love interest, and we're going to force this, whether there's chemistry, whether he's interesting, whether whatever. We're going to make him an Inhuman and put him with her. And I'm like, this is stupid. Like, so right that, like, I was kind of like very iffy about him, but I love that actor, Luke Mitchell.
Oh yeah, he's great. That's like Totally. It's not like any like I'm gonna go on a lot of rants today about how Ward is the worst person alive, but Brett Dalton's so fucking good at playing that. Like, oh my god, Ward this episode is just ridiculous. But before we get to that, Coulson and Gonzalez have their meeting. We hear that Gonzalez has a secret in the cargo hold. Sarie, we're definitely gonna talk about that when Tony leaves the room. And then we get the box. The team's getting back together. I always forget. Like, it's always an exciting surprise. Like, the OG stick. Let's go. Tony, how did that feel for you?
Felt like fucking poison. Ward's in it. Like, as soon as it started, like, that was the thing. And, like, I hate him so much. He goes on this whole speech. He was like, this is what will haunt me, that I destroyed this. And then, like, later in the climax of the episode, he's scaring Simmons deliberately and enjoying it. And I just am like, you're fucking psycho. You're not, you may express remorse, but I just don't believe you. So, yeah, it was neat to see, and it did feel organic-ish that we all ended up here again. But he's just the worst, and he makes things bad. He's a great actor. We love Brett Dalton.
Can you believe he had the gall to say, what I regret the most was not dropping you in the ocean? Like, he specifically called that out. He's like, it wasn't that. Like, he could have called that out and still said was losing my team. But also, like, that's ridiculous. I think you should regret trying to kill your team more than, like, losing it for your feelings. Like, oh my God.
Yeah.
We use the term gaslighter for him all the time. And but he's also delusional, and to the point where he believes his delusions, which to me is what makes him so compelling. But there's so many lines I wrote down, and I think my favorite is when he's like, "Well, Coulson handed me over to my abuser."
Yeah, motherfucker.
He's bringing up his fucking siblings again. I can't believe he didn't like draw a picture of a well and hand it to Coulson.
That line was
and that's why Coulson tells him to stop talking to people.
That scene really is great. But before that, a little earlier, I love Ward and Kara being like cutesy, and Hunter is like, I know I just got shot, but I'm nauseous by those two. And I wrote in my comments, me too, bro. But I do really appreciate the dynamic between Kara and Ward in this episode. Sarie, do you have any thoughts on this?
Yeah, so after Hunter had that comment when they went to Karen Ward, I was like, they really do sound like they're just two people and like cutesy, romantic, the gross kind of love I don't like, but like organic. And like, I was like, oh, you would never know these were like two not great people. They sound very in love to me. Honeymoon stage love, but yeah.
Yeah, well, and it's interesting because Gemma's like, that's not love, and I think that's interesting because I don't think she's wrong, but like they believe they're in love, I think, and that's the thing.
I don't know, man. I don't know what Ward actually feels or thinks he feels with regards to that whole thing, and I'm still like, I don't know, maybe I'm reaching here, but like, or expecting too much, but I felt like midway through this season when Ward returned, he was up to something. He had like a plot. And so far, all we've seen of the plot is get Agent 33 out and be her, lover guardian, and nothing else. Because now S.H.I.E.L.D. has kind of swept back in and scooped him up. I'm still interested to know what his sort of free agent activities were meant to be. So I'm still feel like I'm in the dark when it comes to him.
That's fair. My new least favorite term is lover guardian.
Sorry.
Wow.
That's a good Ward term though, isn't it?
I hated that. My whole body shook in disgust.
That's what he is.
But meanwhile, Hydra has Lincoln and Mike. We get Lift is back again. Sarie, do you remember seeing Ultron and being like, that's S.H.I.E.L.D.? Because I didn't even click it. It didn't click for me 10 years ago. Like, I was stupid.
Yeah, because this came before Ultron, right?
Yeah, Ultron's next week.
Okay, so I don't remember if it was like I watched the movie and then like watched the episode again, or if I like watched the episode so many times because I was obsessed that I did recognize him. But there was definitely a moment of like, oh my God, it's happening.
It is pretty neat. And exciting. And then we're sort of going back a little again. We have another cute Fitzsimmons scene. And then, but like, okay, Gemma's like, I'm gonna kill Ward. And obviously we see that she fucking means it because she tries later. Tony, at this moment in the episode, did you think she was gonna go for it?
Go for what?
Killing Ward. Gemma trying to kill Ward.
Oh, no. I felt the desire, but I didn't think she was actually gonna do it. No. I really love that scene. What?
Oh no, keep going.
I was gonna say I thought Kevin Tantron did an amazing camera move in that scene with Fitzsimmons, where it's like a two shot of them, and then Fitz is in a swivel chair, and so it dollies away from, or it pans away from him as it's pulling back, and he's changed positions. So like he comes into the frame again, and now he's like facing the other way. But it was just like a really slick, camera move that I liked. It was slight but clever.
Good catch. We're going to talk about another big camera move up in a bit, but that was I'm gonna have to go back and watch that because I didn't clock that. That's really cool. We Coulson is and May have to have this little powwow basically, and I like the way Clark delivers the line. Can we put this behind us and go and rescue them, please? Like, I don't blame May either. Like, I think all the men need to chill in this episode. Sarie, what are your thoughts on the way May is kind of team real Shield right now?
Valid. Like,
yes.
I don't really love the real Shield thing, but like, I feel like the way that she's confronting it is the way that it should be confronted, I guess. Yeah. She's like I joined this council thingy so I'd at least have a say, in whatever this is happening. So I think it makes sense.
Oh my God, we're doing it. We're making things happen. Where I'm
goddamn right we are. Baby.
I know. We're doing great. I remember what I was gonna say. What's interesting is they have the vote and Gonzalez votes for it. But Bobby's against the mission, and I think that's a little out of character for her. And I think that the only reason they wrote her to be against it is because they didn't want her to go on the mission, so it could be the OG6. Like, to me, that's the only reason that she was against it, because it didn't really make sense character-wise. Sarie, do you agree with that, or am I reaching?
I didn't think about it that way, but yeah, I feel like Bobby, like when the real Shield came in, her character turned a little bit. Like, it's obviously she's conflicted, but like she just is making decisions I wouldn't have thought she would make earlier in the season. So I wasn't sure if it was that or like, yeah, what you just said does feel like probably the probable answer.
Do you have thoughts? Tony, you're shaking your head, but we are an audio medium, so do you have thoughts?
Oh, they couldn't hear that? Yeah, so this is what I mean about the getting the core 6 back together being semi-organic, which is like it's like the exclusion of Bobby seems a little awkward, as you put it, and then last episode just the whole our best option is getting Grant Ward back on the team, like the absolute never, like Coulson. Like Sarie, I was talking last episode about how I didn't love the episode because it's the first time that Coulson has laid out and executed just a straight up bad plan. Like it was the first time where it was like, I don't agree with any of these choices, whereas normally it's like he takes big swings and it comes down to the wire, but if it doesn't go off, you kind of see what he was doing with it. With this plan, including Ward, I was like, this is a rotten idea. So that, I feel a little bit of that strain in the writing of trying to engineer the core 6 getting back in a room again.
Plus, Skye just like appears there, like yeah. He really just said, "Here's the core," and then like each one they really manufactured. Like Simmons wasn't originally going to go, but she's like, "You need a doctor," and I'm like, "Oh, of course, the doctor that isn't a real medical doctor." But then she's like, "Because I know Mike's anatomy," and I'm like, "Okay, we're given a reason." Like it feels very constructed, but I'm not mad at it. Like I loved it so much, and like the part where they first get together, like Skye, Fitz, and Simmons they have like a little get together in the corner, I feel like, and they just like talk like kids, and it's like the bus kids are back, and it was just such a like reminiscent moment when I feel like from season 1 to season 2 we took such a dramatic not genre mood shift, I suppose. Like the coloring got darker, the whole thing, like Sky turned into a robot, like from her quirky self. Like it just felt like we really needed this like little breath of fresh air, even if it's very clearly you can see that they like tried quite hard to put it together.
I totally agree, because another like kind of crack in this to me is that Sky shows up and they're like, all right, you're on the mission, when like 3 episodes ago they had her locked in a cabin. Like they don't know that she's like getting a hold on her powers. If Gonzalez was there, he would have shut it down. I feel like May would have been like, oh, you can't come on, are you okay? I don't think you can come on this mission. But I'm 100% with you, Sarie. Like I do not care, because I love it. The shot of them all 6 together just like gives me chills, and it's so much fun. And then we talked a little bit about the scene with Ward, but there's just so many funny details in this, like when Sky calls him Candyman.
Yeah, yes, Candyman. Yeah, that's good.
Totally, yeah.
And then like Ward making a comment about like how him and May like were sleeping together. Like he's just like, oh, the amount of times in my notes I was just like, this thing is crazy. This man is crazy. Fuck this man. Like my notes are long too, but mainly it's just because my brain can't handle Ward.
It's rotten. He's rotten.
He says so many lines. Every single one is like, are you trying to get a rise out of people, or are you this delusional? Like I don't even know. Like, because he really has so many one-liners that are so double-sided. Like it's so frustrating.
Yeah.
And at Afterlife we have this good Jane and Cal theme. I like we all said, we just all love Kyle MacLachlan here. And Tony, I'm curious what you're thinking about your feelings right now on the Afterlife people, on Jane, on how she's handling things, and Raina and everything.
Still a lot of mystery. I think, well, first of all, I had a revelation about when there was a scene that had Sky, Raina, and Gordon all in the frame, and just the setting and the costumes and makeup. I was like, oh yeah, like more than ever, this is Marvel Buffy. That's just exactly what it felt like.
Take a drink. That's what I love to hear.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, cheers.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Tony, I feel comfortable telling you this now because you just said that. A few weeks ago, I was like, Lincoln reminds me of someone. That someone is Riley. He's the Riley of this show.
Oh, wait, it's not that bad. Come on.
I would pick Riley over Lincoln, and I mean it. Truly. I know. That this debate has gone off a lot in the comments, so that's something for you to chew on, Tony.
Right. I never really had a problem with Riley. Like I warmed to him as the show went on.
He's just vanilla. That's the thing. I don't think he's bad. It's just like compared to your Angels and your Spikes, it's just like he's just dull. But this isn't a Buffy podcast.
You're right.
We talked about it briefly before, but I do have to give the moment its due, because I wrote in my comment and my notes, twin name drop, Wanda ref on Agents of Shield. Like this is so big for me. Like my 2 favorite things coming together. And what's funny is 10 years ago that meant nothing to me, because I was like 5 days away from my life changing. Like truly, like we're going to talk about it on the Patreon. We will talk about why Age of Ultron changed my life. Little teaser. So like 10 years ago, this was nothing. But now hearing the word just twins on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is like the best moment of my life. Tony, did you how did you feel about this?
It's crazy. Like there's been like, oh, little drop here, little tease there, it's all connected. Here's the proof. But like with this episode in particular, we are like running up to the door of Age of Ultron, and just it's so tightly woven to that movie that that's really fun. This is the moment where I'm like, oh, I kind of regret that I wasn't watching this show at release, because to have to combine a major motion picture and network television narratively is really nifty, and they were doing it in a really cool, like right up to the doorway. So I like it a lot.
Sarie, 10 years ago, did you have like a favorite Avenger from the movies? Like, was there somebody, like, I know that over time, like, you're such a big Kate fan and Yelena, but you know, the pickings were more slim 10 years ago.
They sure were. I was actually a Thor fan.
Oh.
I really liked Thor. I thought he was hilarious. I thought his eyes were so blue for some reason. It really stuck with me. And I was like, man, you're mesmerizing me. And Black Widow, because you know, I love a girl, and I was like, that's what I got right now.
She's the girl. She's the girl.
But that line, I didn't remember it, and I was watching it today, and I'm like, oh my god, I bet Jamie loved that. Like,
she did.
I did today, not 10 years ago. It was so crazy. And then we have this whole showdown. R.I.P. the bus. Tony screamed. Tony was genuinely devastated that the bus. I always forget that this happens, like every time, because I get confused. I'm like, my brain, it's like the same thing. I can't tell cars apart, and it's the same thing with like what the bus looks like on the outside versus like a Quinjet, even though their sizes are significantly different. My brain like can't comprehend. So the bus explodes, and I'm like, wait, was that the bus? Every time.
I'm literally screaming the bus's name, like it just like I was so sad for the bus.
Yes. I remember that happening, and in the moment, I also can't tell exteriors apart, but of like cars or anything. So in the moment, I was like, was that the bus? And like I wasn't like letting myself believe it, because it was like that's really upsetting. Like the interiors are more iconic, right? So I like couldn't tell quite away, and then I obviously was on Twitter, and I'm like, oh my god, it was like a character dying, and it like kind of solidifies that this is probably the last, like not the last, but like it felt like an ending to their little bus kids thing, because the bus died.
It's like a perfect kind of beautiful metaphor, I think, in bringing it all back. But here we are 10 years later, and we still call them the bus kids. So like the bus is dead, but the bus's legacy lives on. There's a lot of stuff we're going to talk about in our history section about like the effects of this and everything. Like every time we watch an episode, I'm like, this would have been a good one for Mark Kolpak. I really need to reach out to this man.
I wrote down in my notes, Kolpak is bringing it in this one because of that that sequence especially.
Well, I'll just jump ahead and tell you right now that this episode was nominated for an Emmy.
Good.
Ending special and visual effects at the 67th Emmys. Creative Arts Emmys, of course. But it lost to Game of Thrones. I think every single time it's been nominated for effects, it's lost to Game of Thrones, which, like, fair. It's HBO money. Like,
yeah.
What are you
I think they should have a network TV section and a like premium streaming section, because they take so much more time and budget, and it's just not a fair comparison. What Mark Kolpak did is just brilliant, and like it was uncomparable to like anything else on TV, I feel like, at the time.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like I wish we could like somebody could make us a supercut of all the times we've gushed over Mark Kolpak, so we could be like, show him like we love you. But okay, speaking of the fucking dope shit in this episode, we've got the Sky, the one shot. The Kevin Tantrone fucking brought it. Tony literally said, "Fuck what this is going on."
Was this Sky not because first before she kicks all the ass, she does Quake things and knocks the guy over. And I was like, Quake. And then she does the big fight. And I was like, Quake with no powers. She's still awesome. Like the arc that I've been traveling with Sky is for season 1, don't really care about you. You're annoying. And towards the end of season 1, I'm like, you're getting interesting. Beginning of season 2 drops in on a zip line on rappels down with like a gun. I'm like, there you are. What's up? And now I just like, she's just even more awesome. So it's having a great time with Sky.
Sarie, as your name says here, number one Sky stan. Is this like for you like a top Sky moment? This because it's just so badass.
Yeah, and also isn't this the moment where Chloe broke her arm?
Yes, yes. So I was gonna get into. Well, you go first. There's like no, because there's so much to talk about for this scene. But yes, Chloe broke her arm.
do you guys remember, was this before or after the Daredevil one shot? Because I can't remember if it's like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. did it first, or like they were like, oh my God, Daredevil can do it. We can do that too. And we can do it with Quake powers as well.
It's a very good question. When
great
was season
question.
1?
Somebody in the chat can absolutely figure that out for me. If you want
Yeah.
to give us those episodes, I will say I'm a sucker for a one shot. Tony and I have been watching The Studio on Apple, and there's an episode called The Oneer, and it is a whole one shot episode that's about filming a one shot in a movie, and it's so fucking funny. Oh my God. Seth Rogen falls down at one point, and it's the hardest I've laughed in a very long time.
He falls really well.
Yeah, but it's something that like, and it's funny because in this episode they talk about it like it being a gimmick or whatever, and no one cares. But like, I'm such a sucker for it. And Kenneth Smith in the comments says that Daredevil did it first, but you know what? Fucking Orson Welles did it first. Like, you know,
fair.
You know, like, come on.
I feel like they were inspired, though. I feel like I read something that was like someone was inspired by the other one, so I feel like that might have been a thing. But I might don't quote me.
But I will say, as people are making comments that Daredevil season 1 came out like in April, like around this time. So it's not like they had time to copy. They were filmed,
there you go,
around the same time.
I might have made that up. Maybe they were just compared on Twitter.
Maybe, you know, yeah, Alice says it came out April 10th, 2015. So there you go. So there was so much about this in the history section, so I'll try to like schmoosh it. But so it was Tantarone and the stunt coordinator Tanner Gill and fight choreographer Matt Mullins. They created a previs of the fight sequence and basically conceived the idea while doing the May versus May fight and Face My Enemy, which is of course like a top tier fight. And apparently the EPs were enthusiastic about it, and Bennett, and they rehearsed the sequence like the prior weekend for a couple hours at a gymnastics place, in quotes. But the thing was, the series production doesn't build sets until a couple days before the shoot. So basically when they couldn't like really coordinate with the art department, so when it was time to actually do it, there was like a lot of stuff that like had to be changed last minute. There was a steam effect that made things difficult, and basically that's probably why Chloe Bennett broke her arm. Because doing something like that on network TV is not easy.
Yeah, the turnaround's tight, and also things are soft in gymnastics places, but sets are made out of hard stuff.
That's true. Sarie, do you remember, because I don't, Chloe's like healing process? Like, was she in a sling? Like she wasn't for the rest of the season.
Not for the season or anything.
Yeah.
But she brought it up a lot.
No, I'm sure she did.
Stuff. She's like, I do my own stunts. I broke my arm. Like I had to do she did have some sort of recovery for sure. I do remember that. But yeah, I don't think they had to incorporate it. Though she does. She already wears kind of like stuff all down here, so we might not even know.
That's a good point. It's not like
tightly
on
wrapped
Friends
thin cast.
On Friends they had Matt LeBlanc dislocated his shoulder, so they do have a scene where he's jumping on the bed and falls off the bed, and then he's in a sling for like many episodes after. But that's, you know, a different kind of thing. He wasn't having to quake people apart. Jonathan McIntosh in the comments just said suggested Kevin Tantarone direct a John Wick movie. Love it. And give him an action movie. He's really fucking good. He's a good director when it comes to this stuff. All right. Since we're like kind of in it already, I will say that I do have a quote from Mark Kolpak about the bus destruction. Basically, like doing fire realistically on television is tall order. You don't get representation of what a real fire element looks like. But the guys that fuse FX animators were amazing. So like they like he's so good at sharing the love for the team. But there was basically he said it was a big scene to pull off, and yeah, we know.
Seriously.
All right. Wait, what were you going to say before Sarie?
Me? I was just saying it was perfectly executed, though.
Oh, she's right. And that's a great time to take a quick 30-second break. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Love in the Time of Hydra. We're here with our friend Sarie talking the dirty half dozen. It's a crazy chunky episode, but we're all tired. We're doing it. Defrosted Robot in the comments mentions we didn't talk about Ward's reaction to Sky's powers, and I do really love that moment. Tony, did you have any thoughts on that?
I just don't remember that moment. I'm sorry. How
dare you?
Jet lag is really fucking. We audience, we warned you. All right,
Yeah,
we warned you where we were.
How
did he react? Tell me.
He was like, "Oh, that's what happened in wherever they were."
No, but then he says, "The least you can
Hell
do
of a
is
reaction."
That's right. Thank you,
Yeah.
Sarie. That's why we're talking about this, because fuck you. You're taking credit for that? You're taking credit for like Kree, billions of years of Kree history. Like, I don't know, like fuck you, man.
Also, thank you for like kidnapping me. Like, well, yeah, that's such a weird take to take, and that's how his mind works. It's like everything that he does, he twists, and it is such a gaslighting thing. Like, that's how gaslighters' minds work, and it's just like he thinks he's right, even though it's so clear. Like, do you know what you did? Like, did you see what you did? Like, it's so every line that came out of his mouth was just exactly to tell you that it doesn't work right.
I really want a shirt that's just Ward that just says Delulu in like big letters. like please. Sarie, I miss your Shield shirt designing days. I have so many shirts that Sarie designed.
Someone bought one yesterday.
Cool.
I know, I got a little notification. It was the Shield logo with like neon. So they're still there, but don't look.
That's a great moment for me to. Yeah, you can't. I have so many shirts I can't wear because Tony can't see them. But this is a good moment to plug that I'm going to be doing a little TeePublic video soon. They reached out to me to pick some shirts and make a video, and sadly I couldn't pick Shield shirts because you can't really use IP. But they're on there. I can't put that in my video, but I can say it here. All right, so Gemma tries to kill Ward, and then she accidentally killed Bakshi. And I love that Ward is so aghast. We're on the same team. What is wrong with you? You pushed her out of a fucking plane. But you really have changed. I'm disappointed in you. It's so funny. But it's like, oh God, you're crazy. But aside from the Ward factor, Tony, I want your thoughts on like Gemma killing Bakshi and like not really seeming to care. Like what?
No. Yeah, Gemma's been really interesting this season because her kind of veiled hostility throughout this season, particularly to Sky, has shown me sort of a darker edge, and so that's been interesting to watch. It tracks that she would just disintegrate Bakshi, which was rad. And I was down for it. I'm not mad at her about it. I am a little concerned about her brain, but yeah, it all worked out.
Yeah, I have thoughts on this, Sarie, but you share yours first.
I just think she's being kind of it isn't good for her, I suppose, but I'm like, I kind of like it. Like, I'm like, you're being pretty badass and he deserves it. So like, I don't see anything wrong with it. I also love that Fitz is just like, we're serious. Like, you're being serious. Like, and he didn't realize in the moment, and I don't know. It's a great progression to me. I like it. I didn't even think about it being bad for her. I was just like, go you're a badass. But yeah, it's a dark, not great place to be contemplating murder. But she did make him a promise. She said, if I see you again, I'll kill you. And so she's just up to that. The Bocce thing was kind of surprising that he like was just like, no, sir. And then like we're just like, sure, that happened. I'm concerned with you, Gemma. I have to like prove I'm disappointed in you. Like, she would care if you're disappointed in her. It just, the whole thing, more Ward, ridiculous brainness, and
it flies in the face of what he was saying, just this remorse that he was expressing, but as soon as he's given an opportunity, he's trying to have some sort of superiority and status over and it just drives me up. He drives me up the wall. As Jamie said, every single thing that comes out of his mouth in this episode is infuriating.
Mhm.
So one, I want to say with the gem of it all, like at this point, like she's making me nervous. Like if anyone on the team was gonna slowly descend into like maybe I should be on in Hydra, and she starts this season working for Hydra, and so I'm like, girl, you're towing a line, and the fact that she really doesn't seem to have much remorse for killing this man. And I do want to shout out Simon Cassianettis, because he's like, I really like him as Bakshi, and it's a fun way to go. And he did say at the time, I'm sad to see him go, but I'm happy to see someone like that get their comeuppance fair. I did try to get him on the podcast, but his reps did not respond. Again, I always say we blame the reps, not the actors.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure he never even saw the email.
Very much enjoyed him in this show.
Yeah. And if you haven't watched The Mandalorian in a while, he is a Mandalorian on that show. So he is doing cool things. There are a lot of people in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. that are in Mandalorian. Like, just like little parts. And then, Ming. Ming's also
that's true.
there. Yeah.
Do you guys think that Simmons didn't care that she killed Bocce specifically because he was like, she knew him, like, but not in a good way, right? Like, so she knew that was a bad guy. It wasn't like some random grunt where she was like, oh, I was going to murder Ward and I was going to be okay with that. But now I just murdered some random person and yeah, they're Hydra, but I don't know anything else about them. They could be brainwashed or whatever. But, or do you think she's just like, oh, it was him. I already like hate him as well.
Well, they had the boat episode, right? What didn't he?
Yeah.
So I feel like they have the two of them have a dramatic history specifically that like, fuck that guy for her.
Right. Like that's what I feel like. I'm like, that's why she didn't care.
Right.
Yeah, she had it out for him.
It's not like he did something wrong, like he deserved to die. But I do feel like usually in this case, when you're killing someone, especially like that was you have some kind of like, oh, I just took a life, no matter how bad the life is, and she just doesn't seem to really have that.
I'm with you. I am also nervous for her because of that.
But like, did you see her face? So she's like, kill me, like, because she thinks now she's failed killing Ward, so she's like, kill me now, like, just do it, you're a monster. And he doesn't, obviously, just as I'm disappointed in you. And she's so stone cold in that moment. I think she really steeled herself before doing this so much that she wasn't letting her emotion in, because then when he walks away, she goes, and so I think that part of that, not like thinking about Bocce, is just like she was so ready for this moment that she kind of put her emotions away in order to murder and
that's
for
fair.
the possible death of herself, that she like, that's why she didn't have a reaction.
That's a very good point. Yeah.
Point. We find out that Coulson has like a side mission on here. He's trying to get something. This was very reminiscent to me of Nat and Steve on the boat in Winter Soldier. This moment between Coulson and May, which is like, well, this is my mission. And then the mission's successful. They save Mike and Lincoln, and then then we have this Ward phone call where he's trying to do right by Kara. And and this is the only moment in the episode where he seems, I'm like, okay, he's letting her go, but is he? I don't know. What do you think, Tony?
Who's letting who go?
Ward is letting Kara go. He calls Coulson and says,
"Oh yeah. I'm sorry, I don't have a strong opinion about that."
Okay,
Sarie, do you have a strong opinion about that?
Like if he's just letting her go for the greater good of her, because he really thinks I think he loves her. He wants to do what's best for her. Whatever he's doing with this phone call it's because he likes her. I do think that. I don't know, in his twisted mind, because I do think everything that comes out of his mouth he thinks is true. It's just backwards and wrong and weird, and that is what makes him an interesting character, but it also makes me very frustrated to talk about, because I'm like, I don't know.
Fair. That's totally fair. Meanwhile, we learned that Gonzalez wanted to enhance people. Interesting, when his whole thing has been Coulson's likes enhance people. It's like, okay, bro. And I do love the moment where Coulson's, spoiler alert, that Fury is alive.
That was cute.
Yeah, I love that.
Because I'm in charge. So fuck you. And then as I forgot Maria was in this episode, Tony forgot and he watched it 12 hours ago. So
I mean,
Right.
I remember the phone call. I watched it 2 hours ago, and I remember the phone call, and I was like, "Oh, Maria Hill," but for some reason, I don't know. Did I like black out? Like we talked.
I
But
did.
it's funny that this happened because the last episode I was on was very Ward centric, and Maria Hill was in it.
Yeah, I think that was
Mm.
maybe the last time we saw her on the show.
Possibly,
Maybe once since then.
possibly.
Maybe one other time. But I totally forgot, and I was like, "Hey, girl, good to see you." And then okay, then we get the big finale. Raina basically sees the Ultron business. It's interesting because like all we see is like the scepter. But like we hear a Sokovian name drop. Consequent like men made of metal will tear us apart. Like that's huge.
Yeah.
That this is all Tony. I know we've talked about it a little bit, but like just seeing this now 10 years later, like has to be like it all ties in. But I feel like this is probably the last time it's this like whoa.
Oh, really?
We're still gonna get connections, but I do think this is like the last one that's like kind of mind blowing a little bit. But I could be wrong.
It was mind blowing. Yeah, it was. It's as I said, incredibly fun to just have it tie in up to the specificity of a release date. This episode comes out on television, network television on this date. That same week or the next week, the film that it is referencing is released in theaters. I just like how slick that is, and it's fun for fans, and it was great for the word of mouth of the show. Disappointing to know that that's the peak of it, but yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it is. But we'll just find out. We'll watch the show unfurl and see. Sarie, do you have any thoughts about Raina seeing the Ultron business?
Just that I love it, and I didn't remember it at all. I'm like, oh, we're really near Ultron, aren't we? This episode, like, I did not know, like, when watching it today that this was that one. This stuff was in there, so it's just nice to see. Like you said, it's like pretty much the peak, so it was like peak excitement. It kind of brought me back.
There's one thing I thought happened in this episode that didn't, and now I'm confused about it. But we'll talk about it when Tony leaves the room because I was like, where? But that's a little tease. And Tony, anything else about this episode that you wanted to comment on?
Sky revives what's his name? Lincoln with his sorry, he's just not interesting. But like quake powers plus electricity powers makes a defibrillator. That was really fun for me. I thought that was really clever. It was like I was like a neat like two powers meeting, saving his life. I like that part. That's
fun. I don't. I was like, okay.
You don't understand the science, Sarie.
I think it's the power of love that I don't understand.
Yeah, I still don't really care about the character, but I just like that little bit of stuff.
Fair. Alice in the comments, honestly, Tony not remembering Lincoln's name is so real. Yeah, fair. Sarie, was there any other comments about this episode that you had?
Not before Tony leaves.
All right, cool.
I guess I should leave.
But first, Tony, who's your episode MVP?
Oh, crap. Oh, that's a time. I know we do this every episode.
I know. I'll go first.
One shot.
Because what, Sarie?
I had a one shot. Come on.
Yeah. So your answer is Sky, Sarie.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think for me it's Simmons. Just for that showdown with Ward. That change we've seen in her now. That the intensity Sarie spoke about it really well. It was really powerful, and I'm gonna give it to her. But there's a lot of competition.
Mm-hmm.
It's same. Yeah. I actually I didn't write that many notes, but one of them is Jenna is a vicious badass. So that's fair.
Honestly, for me, controversial, I gotta give it to Brett Dalton. Like every line delivery he has in this episode kills me. And like, yeah, Ward sucks, but Brett is fucking crushing it in this episode. Like the fact that he made me want to punch him like 12 different times, that's some MVP work right there. And then special shout out to Kevin Tantrum for directing the shit out of this episode.
Wait, so is it actor or character where MVP?
Anything. It can be anything, Sarah. You can say that it's a potted plant. There are no rules.
Well, maybe if a potted plant made an appearance, they'd get it.
Yeah.
So.
All right. We did most of the history throughout, but of course we have to show the poster, the Art of Evolution. The poster is by Jake Wyatt. There we go. This one's interesting to me because like it's also kind of comic booky, but the art style of like their faces are different from what we usually see. I realize I've been forgetting to post these. I need to do like a catch-up post where I post some of them because they are really interesting. Sarie, are you familiar with this one? Have you seen this one? Do you have this one? Because I'm sure you have some of these, right?
I do have a couple. I don't have this one, but I really like this one. There's a couple I'm like not a fan of at all, and this one's really cool. I like the art style a lot. I don't know specifically.
Yeah, great. Soak that in. Thanks, Maria. All right, Tony, say your goodbyes.
Oh gosh, so got some thank yous for Stephanie at Eclectic Muses on socials for doing our artwork. Thank you to Ryan and Mira of Yellow Pills at Yellow Pills Music on Instagram for doing our music. Thank you to our producer Maria. Thank you, producer Maria.
You're welcome.
And thanks to you, Sarie, for being back with us. It's always awesome to have you and your wealth of knowledge on this program.
My wealth. I feel like I have to like kick it back into gear whenever I come here. Like I need to reread it. Like I'm like I have, but it's half baked because it's way back there.
It's been 10 years. Although you've seen it a million times since that, I know. But still, it's like I was looking through your Instagram and you had like I almost used this photo of you like finding all like some of your some props that you had made or something, and you're like just sad that the era is over, and it is sad.
Yeah, yep. Yeah, and if you go back farther, there's just Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. fan videos all the way through.
Pretty amazing. We should start sharing this in our stories. Sarie, before Tony goes, just tell people about where they can find you on the internet.
I'm mostly active on Instagram at Seriously Magical. I might go back to my YouTube and Twitter handles are both Crazy Girl Vids, and it might be going back there soon. But yeah, Seriously Magical on Insta is the main place.
That's a good tease. A reminder to follow us at LidoPod on Instagram and Blue Sky, especially this week, so you can find out when our Ultron Patreon is, and then get the details of our final 2 episodes of the season. And then we're gonna finish Firefly, and then Tony's gonna start Dollhouse. Oh my God, so much teaching. If you're watching along with Tony and don't want spoilers, get the fuck out.
I gotta leave. I'm leaving the room.
Oh my God.
Okay, wait. I don't know if this is the peak of the tie-ins because isn't Gonzalez like building the helicarrier that is going to be at the end of Age of Ultron?
That's Project Theta. So that's what Coulson's working on, I think. Because that's what I was going to say, because I thought that was this episode. Because if Ultron's the next thing, and we see the helicarriers, I was confused because don't the helicarriers come before? So I honestly, like, I was a little confused about it. I don't know if somebody in the chat can help us, because I think the thing Gonzalez has is the fucking monolith. Yeah. I think that's what he has.
But we haven't revealed what Project Theta is yet, right?
Correct. That's what I was saying before, that I thought that was in this episode because it makes sense to happen before. But I guess it's going to happen in the next one, and they're going to be like, we did this. And maybe that's because they didn't want to spoil, because Fury shows up with the helicarriers on Sokovia, and maybe they wanted that to be like a bigger surprise. And so that's why I'm going to assume that's why we didn't see it.
I feel like that's going to be the peak tie-in then. Like, because that's like actually influencing the plot of it. I mean, and not really, like we see Coulson not doing it, but like technically they're like, without Coulson, that part of the movie wouldn't happen. So I feel like that's still to come.
Fair. But I was still, I guess, referring to Age of Ultron as like the peak.
Oh, I see what you mean. Like any Age of Ultron time.
Yeah.
I thought you meant this with the twins mentioned.
No. Just like tying in with Age of Ultron. There's no other movie that I don't think that the show ties in as deeply. You know, the last thing we get is the Thanos reference in season 5, and then nothing. So,
yeah, whole other universe, really.
yeah, exactly. One thing that I didn't bring up from this episode, because like there's no way to talk about it without spoilers, is the Bobby Kara scene. Because if I'm remembering correctly, Ward is not actually leaving Kara with Shield it's a trick, because she wants to kill Bobby because Bobby gave up her safe house. Isn't that correct?
I think that's what he's referring to. She's saying like that conversation where she's like, well, the other thing was just talking to my mom. Like, now you want me to do this? I think he's pressuring her into killing Bobby, actually. And I do think that's why he's leaving her there. That's the whole plot. He's not really letting her go at all. He's saying this is what's best for her. And actually, he's not lying, because he doesn't lie anymore. Or he doesn't lie, I guess, but he
lies to himself.
Not to. Yeah. Himself a lot. But so he still thinks he's helping Kara. But I do think the end game there is to, kill Bobby. But he's pushing her into it. I'm really, I have feelings about Kara that I feel like people don't think the same way as me. I think that if, say, any member of the team got brainwashed, if Simmons got brainwashed, if Skye got brainwashed, they wouldn't care how bad she was after being brainwashed. They would do everything to try and rehab her. And instead, Kara's just like, people are just like, oh, well, she's been brainwashed, so, or she's bad now, so we're not going to help her anymore. And Ward actually has a point there when he's like, Hydra raided her. See, if this were where it ended, like if there weren't a Bobby plot about to happen where Ward's really like, we're going to kill Bobby, I actually think this would be nice to give Kara back to Shield, where she could maybe rehab and Ward just goes his own way because he's too far gone. That actually would probably be the best thing for Ward to do, but instead we're very villainous here.
Yeah, I think you're totally right. I would have been nice just to see Maya on the show more, because we really like her. And I have to stress enough, one of my favorite guests we've had. She was just so engaging and sweet, and was cool, even though she was barely in the episode we had her on for, which really respected. I feel like there's like so many more things. Honestly, this episode went better than I thought it was going to, because our energy is so low. Thankfully, we could fill in the gaps where Tony. I think watching the episode at like 5 a.m. was maybe.
Was that before you went to bed?
Yeah. Yes.
Oh,
we went to bed at like 8 a.m. So the jet lag is it's so. Maria can attest to it. We're so fucked.
Wow.
Yeah.
I went to bed at 3 and I got up at 8 and I like immediately just watched this episode, and I feel like I just wasn't fully awake yet, so I also was, I just can't believe I forgot Maria Hill was in it. Like, I'm really like blowing my own mind here. I'm like, wait, really?
I think we still crushed it. Is there anything else, any spoilery type things you'd like to say before we say goodbye?
No. I'm excited for Tony to see what Cal turns into, because I'm just a big Cal lover. Like, I would have loved to talk about him more today, but his thing with drying is just whatever it is, and it's also not really fully fleshed out yet, so we can't say too much. I feel like, because you don't know what's going on exactly there, or anyone's real feelings. But curious. Yeah.
I just showed Tony last night, because at D23 last year I found, like, you know how they sell those like little cards with like a teeny piece of clothing from the show?
Yeah.
Like, so I bought a Cal one with like a little dress shirt piece in it, and I was like, I found it when I was unpacking some stuff, and I was like, oh my god, Tony, I can show this to you. When I bought it, I made you walk away. So, but I also bought a print of Sonara, and I stuck it in like a place that he'll never notice it, and if he does see it, he's like, but I'm like, oh, he'll learn about that in years from now.
Time capsule. You need like a little Tony time capsule where you can like open it whenever the date comes.
That's fun. I like that idea. All right. Sarie, this is so much fun. It's always a pleasure. Thank you so much for coming on.
Always happy to be here.
Yes. And thank you to the chat for popping off today. We appreciate you. Keep on listening. I can't believe we're almost done with season 2. Like, this is crazy. It's going to be fucking 2030 before we know it. Keep an eye out on Instagram for the Ultron date. And hopefully by the time you see us next, we will have be back on a good sleeping schedule. Goodbye.